This is Twin Cities Adventures with our Minnesota Chickens playlist. And in today's video, we're gonna show you how we made this custom hen house. So here is a rough sketch of what we will be building in this video.
Just like that. Now we have our stand complete for the coop.
And that's about 4.5 feet wide by 3.5 feet deep.
And in the front, we did not put a lower one so the chickens can go under the coop and have some extra shade.
Now that the stand is complete, let's start on the structure of the hen house. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this 2x4 down. That way I can have something really sturdy to screw these hinges to on the clean out side. So that will be over here on this side. We're gonna take wood glue and we're gonna put a strip of wood glue on the board. I'm gonna flip it upside down and screw it in from the underside. So this board is all glued up here, and I'm not gonna make it the full length. I'm gonna leave a 2x4 width on both sides, because right here, I want a 2x4 on the bottom and on the sides here. That way I can drill the screws deep set into those so it's really sturdy. We did both sides the same so it would be consistent, and then we did a 2x2 in the front and the back, and we left enough space on both sides for structural support later on when the 2x4s come up to the top like that. Okay, so our insulation is styrofoam insulation that is exact same thickness as the 2x4s and the 2x2s. Okay, so that's done. Now we'll slide the other piece of chipboard over the top of that. And now notice here, there's a gap right here where that 2x4 is going to go. So we want to keep this here, but we're going to cut out this. We notch that out. Okay, so that's what it looks like from the front. Here's the chicken door. Chickens will go right up the ladder and right into here. Now we'll give you an example of putting a piece of insulation in there. It is the exact same dimension as the 2x2s. Mildew, insect, and moisture resistant. So I've got some insulation tape that I'm putting around the edges. Make that airtight so there's no drafts. And then we put food grade flooring here. This is like almost like a linoleum floor, but it's more heavy duty than that. So that's a 10-inch pan for the deep litter technique. That is going to be completely waterproof and mildew resistant and rot resistant. It's just going to be awesome. I'm finishing off the inside with 1/4-inch plywood. So I'm kind of in the process of that. Still cutting some styrofoam. Here's the windows. They got them all framed out. One huge window there, and then the chicken door. Another huge window here, then the other huge window right there. Just working on insulating the other ceiling panels and finishing off the inside. So now I just added the hardware cloth, heavy duty chicken wire, to the outside of the windows. And I want it on the outside of the windows because when I put the siding on, it'll sandwich that in. And it is stapled in, so it'll be sandwiched between there. Okay, now we've got the drop down deep litter door attached with 3 hinges here. And you can see we've got that nice food grade surface on the inside too, with a couple barrel bolts on each side. Just unlock that from the inside and drop that down. Okay, here's the final result of the back. I've got the hinge right here. You can open those up, and then the deep litter drops down. That will be awesome. I've primed it, so that gives it a nice seal and it's nice and bright. The ceiling is all finished off and primed. I put these brackets in here for the roosting bar. My roosting bar is a 2x3, but I'm gonna round off the corners. We're at the phase now where the siding is up and we're doing the trim work around the edges The hardware cloth is sandwiched in between the layers there and stapled. So there's no way predators will get inside there. This is looking all good here. It's all finished on this side. Just have to finish the roof over here. Now we're in the process of building the egg hutch. So over on this side here, and we've got it insulated. If there's one thing you do not want in the Minnesota winter is frozen eggs. So even if you don't want to insulate your coop, at least insulate your egg hutch. There's probably nothing worse than coming out and finding frozen eggs in the winter in Minnesota. Here we've got a little sneak peek of the inside of the wall here. I like to tape off between all the cracks so the cold weather doesn't come in. At least while the chickens are laying eggs in their little hutch, they can have a nice cozy place to be. And same thing over here. There's a little peek in there. Here's our theme we've stenciled in. It's Jack and the Beanstalk. We're in the process of drawing that in, and we will paint that in a little bit. Might as well have fun with the coop, right? There's the finished off sides from the inside, and then the food grade surface applied into the nesting box. And I'm going to separate this into 3 different nesting boxes for 1, 2, 3. Okay, I've got the dividers in here for the nesting box, about every 12¼ inches. They're 12¼ inches wide. It is 12 inches deep, and it's 14 inches high because I'm going to be able to put 2 inches of nesting material. So after the nesting material is in these, they'll be 12 by 12 by 12 with a little extra room in the front here because this is pitched to go away from the coop after we put the roof on. Okay, the roofing is on. Now we need to do the next step on the egg hutch. So I've got this faceplate cut out here, and the separators are in. Now we need to just insulate and put a panel on the roof here, and then we need to build our drop-down box in the front that'll drop down, and then we can collect the eggs like that. Now we've got the roof on the egg hutch here. Liquid nails in the crack here, and that's a nice 2-inch slant away from the coop. So that's gonna be nice and watertight. This is all front faced here and cut out for a drop-down door. Here is the drop-down door right now, fully insulated on the inside. Once again, you do not want frozen eggs in the Minnesota winter. So I'll just screw that on. We'll fit that in and put the hinges in. Egg hutch complete. Little clasp here, you can put a carabiner on that. Drop down insulated door. That is nice.
Oh, it's on.
Made some little skis for the feet and just hooked up a tow strap to the riding lawnmower and pulled it. So we're gonna finish roofing that, and then we'll slide it right underneath the pergola right there with the chicken door facing towards us. And then the run will be right here, and that'll be in the next video. And we need to level off the ground where the coop is gonna go, and then we'll tamp that down with a tamper. Here we're in the process of roofing the coop. We've got thick tar paper down and nice looking shingles. Okay, now the coop is in place. I just have to take the skids off, So it's resting just on the blocks, and then we'll center those exactly where we want those. 20 feet from the property line to the coop. So that is perfect. That is the city law, that you have to have your chickens 20 feet from the property line. The other law is that you can have up to 4 hens. Now we're just building and framing in the windows, molding, and this thick quality plexiglass sandwich between the molding pieces and some 1x2s. All right, we've just finished off the brace work here. I've got another pressure treated 2x4 from the bottom all the way up to the top here. This is sealed to the pergola flush, and this comes down here, and another pressure treated 2x4 going all the way down, because that is going to be where the chicken wire is going to be screwed into or nailed into to connect to the run. I just finished framing out around where the chickens go in and out of the coop. And then we've got our windows, the custom windows built. They're all installed here. All right, now I'll give you a view of the custom windows. We've got an eyelet up here and on here. And then if we want to open these up, just put that chain on there, and that window will stay all the way open. And if you want it lowered, put that chain on at a different spot, and you can just lower how much that's open. See this side here. So this is all the way down. The chain, you can just do halfway up if you want to, or all the way up. Just like that. Lots of ventilation from both sides. Now this is south, that side is north, and that side is east, where the sun comes up. We did not want to put a window on the west side because the sun sets in the southwest, mostly west corner here. So that sun will beat on the back of this, and that'll be really hot. And then I didn't want them to be cooking in there. But this will be under the pergola with grapevines growing all over it, so this will be just perfect breeze that'll go through here. All right, we just added these 2 locks here in conjunction with this, so this is totally stable. Just drop those down and open this up. And there's where we're at. We have 2 barrel bolts on the inside for the drop-down container. Drop that out. Temporarily close that off. We got our roosting bar up there now. The top is sanded off on the 2 edges here, flat on the bottom. So that's where we're at. Now we need to make our chicken door from the inside that goes up and down. Okay, here's what we've got so far. I've boxed in the opening with 1x4s, and they go from the bottom all the way up to the top here, because when the door opens, it has to slide up against that. And then this one here is just going to be the brace that keeps it stable. And then I've got 1x2s out here on the outside. That way, when my door goes in there, that can slide up and down, just like so, against that. So then this is slightly smaller, like a 1/4 inch smaller than the opening width-wise. So if this kind of wiggles back and forth a little bit, it's fine, but it's not too much wiggle where it will just slide nice and loose. And then when you sand this, you have to sand off the corners here. That way they don't catch on all 4 sides. And then if you flip this open, I just painted that to match the outside of the front of the door for the opening. So now next, what I wanted to show you is that this also is a 1/4 inch deeper than my piece of plywood here. So it's got a little wiggle room. As you can see, I've got a 2x4 clamped to the back or the inside of the door here. So what I'm going to do is take a drill bit with a countersunk bit on that, and I'm going to pre-drill 3 holes here. And you're going to want to countersink those so the screws sit flush and they don't crack your nice door. Here we've got 3 screws in there, nice and flush. And then I drilled another hole on top here that we're going to screw the eye bolt in for the pulley system. Okay, we'll just slide that in there. Here's our eyelet screwed into the 2x4 that's weighted to help bring the door down. It slides right in and out of that channel. So now we'll just cut the side pieces that keep it from falling out. Okay, here is the final result. And the eyelet on top goes up through a pulley that's attached to an eye that's screwed into the wall. It goes over here through this hole, through this beam, and then it goes through the wall over there. And when we go on the outside, I'll show you how that is going to be tied off. So if I just pull on this, for example, raise, flush with the bottom perfectly, and when you let go, it drops the board just like that. Here's where the pulley comes out of the back wall by the egg hutch. You can just tie a knot at the end where you want it to stop going through so it doesn't end up back feeding through ever. Okay, and this is with the door in the upright position. I've just got this on an eyelet right here. Just gonna lower that. Okay, I've got the first coat of paint finished. Matching the house here. Windows are the same as the trim on the house here. And we'll go around the front here. Check out the chicken door. So far, so good. I can just lock that right onto there. Here's where we are at now. We just re-boxed in the base and stabilized it so it's perfectly level. We took the 6-inch lifter bracket off and we lowered that to smooth out the bottom so it's more streamlined. We put hardware cloth, that's 1/2-inch hardware cloth, on the perimeter and wrapped it around the corners. And then you can see here we did a predator apron 2 feet out from the whole perimeter of the coop on all 3 sides here, and that will attach to the edge of the pergola also. So that's what we'll do, and then we're going to frame in the perimeter of the underneath of the coop next to make it look nice and neat, and then we'll end up putting mulch over the predator apron right here that comes out 2 feet from the perimeter so no coyotes or fox can dig under there and get into the coop. So here's the front on the inside of the underbelly of the coop, and then here's the frame all boxed in. Nice finished look. Go all the way around the side. Here's the walkway from inside the coop. Cut out, and then there's the walkway going down. And here's a view of that from inside the run. Okay, now here is the end result here. Jack and the Beanstalk themed coop. Pretty neat little stencil. We've got some alien ships up here. And then we've got these curtains up front here so the chickens can have privacy in their egg hutch. And then there's a roosting bar to hop up into their egg hutch, which they like. And then here's the upper roosting bar at window level so they have a scenic view. And then door opens and closes. The ladder will slightly disappear in the shavings that we'll add in there in just 1 second. And there's the end result with about a half a bag of wood chips in there. And now when that starts to get settled, we'll just turn that, and that will compost into the deep litter system with the 10-inch beds. Now all we need to do is add chickens. Here's a view of the egg hutch from the back side. I've got these nesting pads here. They can kind of root around in there and make that into a nice little cozy nest. You get a box of these on Amazon. They're pretty cheap. And then here's a view into the hen house here with the little curtains for them. Just close that right up. Put a carabiner on there. Twin Cities Adventures out.